We visit the Old Trafford district, and is it true that one of the most famous parts of Manchester is not actually in Manchester? We follow the hallowed path from the tram stop along by the cricket ground to the Theatre of Dreams, past this gigantic new residential development next to a university. They once proposed to demolish this town hall, and now it's proposed to demolish this football stadium. Has an abandoned office building got a future? And what secrets does this former DIY warehouse hold? I was riding the Metrolink through Old Trafford one day and noticed a large amount of construction work going on, so I decided to investigate. So we'll change here at Cornbrook and head down to Old Trafford and see what's happening around that area. We arrive at Old Trafford tram stop, which was once a railway station prior to the opening of Metrolink in 1992. That's the Emirates Old Trafford Cricket Ground, with lots of modern buildings around it. And if you look over to the right, what's under construction there? We'll have a closer look later, but first let's take a walk along the road just behind Trafford tram stop, Ayres Road. It's like a time machine from before the current building boom. Derelict industrial buildings with security fencing in front. An empty plot, overgrown. On nearby Ellensaw Road, I once photographed this attractive industrial building, but that's since been demolished. Further down Ayres Road, there are some working automotive businesses, and behind this grand facade, a mosque and community centre, and they're planning an extension. On the other side of the road is the Metrolink Trafford Depot, and now a glimpse of what's around the corner, literally on the corner of Warwick Road South. The derelict industrial buildings have been knocked down and this residential development is going up. The apartments are shared ownership or affordable rent. The 1 and 2 bedroom apartments have balconies and there are shared gardens to the rear. Very convenient for Metrolink and if you're a cricket or football fan. So let's cross back and take a look at what's happening on the west side of the rail line. Walking past the Old Trafford Cricket Ground, we are now on the hallowed path from Old Trafford Metrolink stop to Old Trafford Football Stadium on Brian Statham Way, named after the English cricketer. A very big new development is under construction. It's called Lumina Village. The board state, Lumina Village is a place for everyone, with community at its heart. I wish they'd get the apostrophe right. This vibrant and sustainable neighbourhood creates space to connect, learn, socialise and grow. A place to call home. The site is extensive with lots of buildings, all to be clad in brick. Real brick? Located right next to the Old Trafford Cricket Ground, maybe residents will be able to watch matches and listen in to open-air concerts. Amongst the new build, this looks like an old entrance, interesting architecture and brickwork, very attractive collage, Manchester Originals, Mancunian Way. We can see the icons of Manchester well in evidence here. The Lumina Village site extends to the left and right behind University Academy, or UA92. That's a new style third-level institution set up by Lancashire University and ex-Manchester United players to help disadvantaged young people to get a degree. Here's a more flattering image of the building, which used to be occupied by Kellogg's. Looks like this area is going to get a whole lot busier with all those new residents, but I do wish they'd provide more visualisations, not just the same two repeated over and over again. Lancashire Cricket, Emirates Old Trafford, Lancashire County Cricket Ground. The words on the wall look like they date from the 1930s. The Lancashire County Cricket Club has been here since 1864. But hold on a minute, it says Lancashire. Very nice contemporary style red rose, the ancient symbol of Lancashire. But according to the map and Wikipedia, this is Greater Manchester. The Lancashire County Cricket Ground is not in Lancashire. Well, here's my explanation. There are two Lancashires. The ancient, historic county of Lancashire, with origins going back 1,000 years, and the new Lancashire, set up 50 years ago. Historic Lancashire extends down to the River Mersey, 2 miles to the south, but New Lancashire doesn't cover Greater Manchester. Its southernmost border is about 11 miles to the north, so we can say that the Lancashire County Cricket Ground is within the old Lancashire, but not the new one. Now let's take a look at Trafford Town Hall, originally Stretford Town Hall. Opened in 1933, a statement of civic pride for the borough of Stretford, Lancashire, neighbour of Manchester, designed by Bradshaw, Gass and Hope. With neoclassical influences, a tall clock tower in red brick. Those balconies and windows are magnificent. It's an attractive building, well situated in the borough and very well connected by public transport. The clock tower looks great at night, especially the figures in blue neon. It seems like a combination of traditional and modern. But like many heritage buildings, it requires maintenance and upgrades. So what were they thinking of doing with it in 2006? They were thinking of demolishing it to make way for an expansion of the Lancashire Cricket Ground across the road. The Town Hall facility would move to a new building situated in Trafford Park, right next to the Manchester Ship Canal, over on the far west side of the borough. Along with others, I objected, and long story short, the council voted instead to keep it, and it's still there today. The Town Hall survived the Blitz, but nearly fell victim to post-millennium planners. One element of the built environment was lost during the war and never replaced. Those are the stumps of railings that were cut down to provide metal for the war effort, but it was never used. To this day, the UK is still missing its railings, but if you go to Ireland, you'll find they're still there. We pass murals of two venerated figures who need no introduction, and we are crossing the main road, looking back along the A56 Chester Road, the ancient Roman road, towards the towers of Deansgate Square in the city centre. We are on the final section of the path, Sir Matt Busby Way, with traditional fish and chips and full English breakfast for the pilgrims. And at this point, let me tell you about a book I once contributed to. I took the now photographs for Manchester United Then and Now, published in 2012. I had a very interesting time going around taking the photographs, including this one of fans approaching the stadium, matched up with an old photograph from the same viewpoint. I only have one copy of the book left, but I wouldn't mind if it went to a good home. Anyway, we have arrived. The Theatre of Dreams, a name given to it by Sir Bobby Charlton, a football stadium, one of the most famous in the world. Manchester United has been here since 1910. The stadium has been modernised, expanded and extended many times over the years. That framework on the top is highly distinctive. The red lettering, Manchester United. Wherever you go in the world, that's what people say when you tell them you're from Manchester. A magnet for tourists from all parts of the globe. I've never heard so many different languages as when I've been standing here. The religious theme is continued with a statue named United Trinity, depicting a legendary trio. Now, would you believe that I once, accidentally, captured, in a photo of the stadium, two of the aforementioned legends getting into an Audi parked outside the ground. It was on the 19th of May, 2011. That's them, isn't it? Dennis Law CBE and Sir Bobby Charlton. So, what are the future plans for the stadium? What are they considering? Well, they are thinking of demolishing it. At the moment, all possibilities are being considered. There are plans for a state-of-the-art new stadium adjacent to the old one on the site of the Freightliner terminal. We can see from the map how the stadium and the terminal stand on a kind of long banana-shaped island between the Bridgewater Canal and the railway line. The Freightliner terminal would be moved to a new location near St Helens. There we can see a new state-of-the-art oval-shaped stadium. It looks like a gigantic air freshener to me. It seems incredible that the Theatre of Dreams could be knocked down, like demolishing York Minster and moving to a modern purpose-built facility. But all joking apart, a new stadium would bring many advantages: larger capacity, better facilities, even more prestige. The decision has been delayed till next year, so keep watching Aid and Eyewitness. But is it true that Manchester United is not in Manchester? Well, I've heard some people say, mostly from outside the area, that Manchester is only the area within the municipal boundary. Everywhere outside the municipal boundary is not Manchester, so they say. The Borough of Trafford? Nothing to do with Manchester, a totally separate town. Salford? A totally different city, not part of Manchester. According to them, Manchester is a relatively small provincial city, well down the league by size and way below, let's say, Birmingham. So, what's going on here? Well, long story short, The city of Manchester, over the years, didn't expand its boundaries very much because it's surrounded by local towns, and there was, and still is, some rivalry. But from above we can see how the conurbation stretches out in all directions, one continuous urban area, crisscrossed by Metrolink, railways, roads, footpaths and waterways. Boundaries are invisible. That area, in the wider world, is known as Manchester. And there's another icon of Trafford, not quite as famous, the White City Gates, facing onto the A56 roundabout. It looks like the Grade 2 structure needs some renovation work. They were once the formal entrance to Manchester's Royal Botanical Gardens. Later, this Garden of Eden became a greyhound racing track, and today it's a retail and food outlet shopping park. What's that new building under construction over to the right? We'll see in a while. There was a mural on the end of this warehouse. They replaced it with a giant screen, but they included a copy of the mural in the electronic display. And the electronic version looks even better. The colours really shine. It rotates with adverts. Here's the site of the former Greater Manchester Police Headquarters, which, as in Liverpool, moved to new premises north of the centre. So what's going to happen with the site? Well, there are plans for a residential project with 750 units. 25% affordable. Watch this space. We cross over White City Way and see double red lines like the ones in London. What do they mean? As the Trafford Council website states, a vehicle cannot stop at any time, not even to load or unload. So you've been warned. There's the new building that we saw from White City Gates. It's part of a development called Trafford Gardens on Talbot Road. Red brick with bevelled corners. Yet another place for people to live. And whatever you think about the architecture, it has to be a good thing that the supply of homes is being added to all the time. And just across the road, the incredible sight of a relatively modern building standing empty and decaying. I wonder what it looks like on the inside. The offices of British Gas were once here. It was sold in 2015, and there were plans for refurbishment, but it's been nearly a decade now. I know nothing about surveying buildings, but I have a gut feeling this building is, as we enter 2025, unreusable. There is one more piece of architecture that has a special significance for me that's tinged with regret. No, not Oakland House. We'll walk down Talbot Road, past the Cricket Ground, and onto Great Stone Road. It's the former B&Q warehouse with its distinctive angular tower. Actually, it's been demolished now, but I made sure to get plenty of shots of it back in 2022. So, what's so remarkable about this very unremarkable building? In the 1970s, it was a popular music venue that hosted many famous acts: Thin Lizzy, Bob Marley, Roxy Music, Led Zeppelin, the J. Giles Band, Santana. It was here that David Bowie appeared on his Ziggy Stardust tour on the 2nd and 3rd of September 1972. And I didn't go because my parents said I was too young and it was too far. You need to check out this fantastic resource, the Manchester Digital Music Archive, mdmarchive.co.uk. From the bridge we look south towards Altrincham and north towards Old Trafford Metrolink stop and the city centre. We'll go along the footpath behind the trees, Trent Bridge Walk. And we're back at our starting point. I never imagined I'd find so much to discover in the district of Old Trafford. So I hope you found this video interesting. Please like, subscribe, comment, and if you want to support what I'm doing, please donate to Buy Me a Coffee. The videos do take quite a bit of time to research, edit and prepare. Thank you very much. So, vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen und auf Wiedersehen in Old Trafford, Manchester.